Then a girl approaches me. So I already know that it was a scam.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't go to Istanbul. I know this title may be alarming, but hear me out. After 20 days in Egypt, it was time to visit a new place. In this video, we're going to talk about the other side of Istanbul. The side you never hear anybody on YouTube speaking about.
There's something suspicious about this.
And I'll try my best to be as fair as possible in my assessment.
Just because they were honest with me, I'm gonna leave them with 400. That's nuts.
Let's get the ball rolling and start with the visa. Canadians, just like Americans, need an e-visa to enter Turkey. And the visa costs $60 US. This is the official website, don't go to another scammy one. The process was simple and nobody will ask you about your original nationality like Egypt. And right after your payment, you'll receive a notification. But it's not confirmation of payment, it's actually your visa. A tourist visa is usually for 90 days. I applied the night of my trip. I didn't even know there was a visa.
We're finally in Turkey, ladies and gentlemen.
I came through the new airport and I was impressed by how large this airport is. When I was leaving Cairo airport, I went through 4 to 5 security checks. But here, everything was easy breezy in comparison to Egypt. But leaving this giant airport felt like an eternity.
Can you guess the first thing I see in the airport? Popeyes.
The taxi to my hotel was $45 and I took it around 4 a.m. Everything up to now seemed like a regular trip. I was very excited and I managed to get inside the hotel. And tired as I am, I wanted to show you the room.
The smallest room in the world, but it's perfect. The only problem I have is that it doesn't have windows.
This hotel was located 12 minutes away from the Galata Tower, which made it an ideal place for me to book it. And it was 3 minutes away from Istiklal Street. This area is the modern city center, and it's full of tourists, street vendors, and shops. I came here without any expectations. I was happy to see that the area is very busy 24 hours.
I'll take you to my hotel. This is basically my neighborhood where my hotel is. I forgot the name. I can never pronounce the names. It's called Mitani Suites. 47 Canadian dollars, probably like 30 bucks a night. Well worth it.
Even though it was easier to find American outlets in Egypt, in here it was very hard. So all I was doing the first day was looking for converters and looking for vapes. And it was time to drink and charge my cameras.
Here, this is a small room, and then I have a nice washroom. It's not bad at all.
And the vape that I bought was not very good, so I had to go outside and search for another one again. It was my very first time seeing a tiny elevator, so I was fascinated. And I was back and forth in the search of a vape. I didn't know vapes were actually banned in there. And at the end of day 1, I treated myself with a meal and a beer. But on my way to the hotel, something uncalled for happened.
Literally just half an hour ago.
I was approached by the one guy, and then he was asking me to come drink at his bar. He said a beer would be 150 lira, and I decided to head to that location.
So I went there and I said, okay, let me just do it for the gram. And I ended up going to this place that looks very fake. Very, 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 very fake.
I entered. As soon as I entered, I put my umbrella. Of course, if you have a coat, they're going to ask you to leave your coat. That way they can trap you even more. So what he did is he let me sit in. He gave me the beer. I told him I want to pay. I paid for the beer. Now a girl approaches me and then she tells me, hey, how are you? Where are you from? All that stuff. So I told her I'm from Canada. She said, I lived in Vancouver for 3 years. I asked her, where did you live? I forgot. I was a student there, but I forgot. How did you forget where you lived in Vancouver? Either way. So I didn't believe her, of course, clearly. And a big, huge guy came in and he asked if I wanted to offer a drink for the girl. The whole club looked like a very fake setup of a bar, like of a nightclub. There are fake people that are standing in there, like 5-6 girls, and there's that one guy that was sitting and there was a girl next to him, and there was nobody in the club, and it looked completely fake. So the guy asked me for the drink for the girl. I told him no problem, offer her a drink.
So I got that drink for the girl, and that drink ended up becoming a champagne bottle for some reason.
He came in with a champagne bottle and he's telling me that's 5,000 liras. 5,000 liras is something around 250 bucks or something. So anyways,
the champagne bottle came and I refused it. And I'm not willing to spend that much money on somebody random that I'm not interested in. And I said, no, give me a little cup for her.
And then he offered me a little cup for her. I don't know what he put for her inside, but then he put something. I asked how much it was. He didn't answer me. I asked the girl. She said, you gotta ask. It's Turkey, whatever. She's pretending like she's from outside the bar. I just saw her inside the bar when I walked in and she was conspiring with the staff. Anyways, the whole thing was like completely fake and shady. It was ridiculous. I ended up spending 600 liras plus the 100, so 600 liras for her drink and 150 for my drink. That's something around 50 bucks, around 50 bucks American. And I just got up and left. So that way I saved myself from getting a lot of hassle. And at the same time, I managed to learn something new about Turkey. One of the traps. I could tell that it was a trap from the beginning because the guy was very persistent.
Don't let that discourage you though. Turkey is very beautiful. People are so nice. And anybody that asks you on the street to grab something or seems very persistent, avoid them because they clearly want your money. Don't waste your time. Holy moly, it's going nuts now.
And if you see anything that's empty, don't enter. There's no point.
After this incident, I went online and I was checking for the scam. And I realized that you might end up at the end of the night with a bunch of people sitting on your table ordering champagne and food and random stuff. And because you're drunk, you might think that they're friends. But in reality, they're all part of the scam. And when the night ends, you'll end up alone in that bar with a bunch of security guards waiting for you to pay the entire bill. That could be anything from $500 all the way to $5,000. And boy, did I wish that was my first and last scam. Let's get to day 2. And this is day 2. And day 2, I woke up fresh and positive and full of excitement to explore the city. I noticed a heavy police presence, so I felt comfortable. I lied, I didn't feel comfortable. It was soaking wet, but I wanted to show you the place where this guy was before I go eat.
The guy was standing around this area, next to this juice bar. In this alley.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't even comfortable to walk around that area early in the morning.
I don't know if he's still standing, but it seems that there are places like this at night in Istanbul.
And after a little bit of walking around the shops, I started to get hungry.
The rain is going nuts out here. It's crazy out here. My shoe is already soaking. Actually, this is the only shoe I have. I should probably find a place to hide.
Seeing that many army personnel was actually alarming.
Everything is picturesque out here.
But I was still dreaming about that Turkish breakfast everyone's talking about.
I managed to go to a restaurant that I was recommended to visit for breakfast. See if I can make it on time. The sun started shining a little bit.
Going around the alleys of Istiklal Street is almost like a movie. But it all seemed like a distraction to my stomach, so I called an Uber.
He's asking me, where are you going? Are you serious? I already put the location. When people ask you that question, just know that they're gonna try to charge you extra. I'll tell him you have the location. Let's see what he says. Still typing. We can go for $60, including highway and bridge fees. You see, I realized it. He's trying to scam.
I was going on a trip which should cost me 250 liras, which is basically $8.66. But this guy was asking me for $60, and he wasn't the only one. And meanwhile I was waiting, I got thirsty, and I went to a corner store.
I bought gum and a bottle of water, and he charged me 30, which doesn't make any sense. Because yesterday I bought the bottle of water for 10. Could the gum be 20? That's strange. Alright, so I took this guy, this Uber, and I was told he's not gonna charge extra. Let's see. All the other Ubers were trying to charge me extra money for some reason. So I waited, and I completely refused. But let's see. Let's see this time what's gonna happen.
It took me 35 to 40 minutes to get an Uber in there, and they only have Uber taxis. Uber only connects you to the official taxis. And whenever I hooked up to one, they either sent me a message asking me for extra money, or they waited to see me face to face to ask me, or they gave me the ride, and at the end of the ride, they asked me to pay the extra money. The taxi service in there was relentless.
Almost 35 minutes to get one Uber, which is ridiculous.
And I'm a guy, and I didn't feel safe in any taxi in there. It was very, very sketchy.
I had 5 Uber drivers cancel on me, and I'm not sure why that is the case.
Today, in comparison to the rest of the days I stayed in Turkey, was actually still a good day. It's only the beginning.
It's not worth it, to be honest, but I was recommended to rent a car.
At that point, I didn't know better, and I thought they were charging extra because of the rain.
So I was recommended to visit this place called Yakumo's. All these names sound Japanese to me, and I'm gonna give it a shot. They have a seat somewhere around the water. The view is magnificent out here.
And it was time to enter my very first restaurant in Turkey. Call me naive, but I was expecting to see there everything that I see in brochures.
Do I get inside here if I want to go to the cafe?
Cafe. Right.
From inside here?
Yukarı. Sağdan yukarı. Right.
Outside? Okay. Oh, from here? Okay.
Finding people who spoke English here was almost impossible, which made my communication with the locals nearly obsolete.
If I want to get food, downstairs or here? Food.
Bey,
Food.
Murat diye biri yeni başladı mı işe?
Food. Here or upstairs? Food.
Garson mu? Bilmiyorum artık bilmiyorum. Bir sene kadar
Okay.
geldim.
I'll go downstairs. I'll go downstairs. Thank you.
If anybody understood what he said, I would love a translation if possible
go
in the
here.
comment section.
I'm asking for if I want to order food, do I order here or there? Here. You can bring it here? Okay. Can I sit there?
Yes, yes, no problem.
Okay, fantastic.
This place is supposed to serve Turkish breakfast, and I was told it would be 250 liras.
My cousin recommended me to come here. We'll see. I'll tell you the prices and everything after.
But upon checking the menu, I realized that the breakfast would be a lot more expensive. My meal here did cost me 650 liras, which is about 22 US dollars and 52 cents. And the food was great, but I wish that the fruits were actually a little bit more fresh. So I decided to call my cousin who recommended me to this place, and she was actually shocked because she thought the prices should be at least less than a half.
So if I go to any Turkish restaurant in Toronto, it will cost me less money.
But I wasn't ready to go discover another restaurant. This place has it all, but the only problem I had was that the price was not great.
Here.
And off camera, I actually asked them to sit downstairs, but they wouldn't let me for some reason. After the food, I was ready to go back to Istiklal Street.
Guys, chubby. Chubby.
You can't walk for 10 minutes here without getting approached and asked for something.
Excuse me, sorry. Do you know English?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
What is it?
Thanks so much. This mango is not good. I'm reading.
I was already tense because I was already approached by a lot of scammers at that point. But these guys seemed to be students who were raising some funds for some cause. So at that point I gave in and I wanted to offer something.
Your choice. 10% my scholarship, 90% disabled and cancer people. Donation.
So anything? Take 100.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
too. Have a good day. Thanks so much.
You too.
I thought I heard school and cancer. If somebody knows what they said, can you please translate it?
So 100 liras, I think, is like something around 5 Canadian dollars. Maybe 375 in US. Sad part is, if you are a tourist, you're gonna have to suffer a little bit before you figure out the ways of this country. No thank you. And I am only here for 2 days. I actually took this road yesterday. And you have to go downhill, it's very steep. The trip down the hill is not bad, but going back up the hill is a struggle. So if you have a method of transportation, you might as well use it.
I'll be honest with you, until now, I've been having a bad experience. It's been only my second day here, and I haven't done anything but complain. So I decided to take the other part of my day to show you the touristic attractions of Istanbul.
This is Taksim Square, by the way. Taksim Street, very touristic indeed.
I won't let the negative supersede the positive. So let's go visit my favorite place.
To be honest, I only came here for one reason. I saw this, they sell organs, and they put them in a bun. And I saw it on some YouTube videos, and I can't seem to find them anywhere.
Forget about the organs in a bun, and let's play a guessing game.
Oh, hectic.
Can you guess the name of this tower in Istanbul? I'll give you a hint. This tower used to be the tallest tower in Istanbul, and it was used as a watchtower, an observatory house, and jail. Can you imagine being a prisoner in there?
Let's go up there and see the neighborhood I've been in for the past 24 hours.
The prisoner in there probably knew everything that happened in the neighborhood. They probably knew who stole whose chicken and whose husband cheated on whom. But I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if they had windows. Anyways, this is the tickets counter.
The lineup is ridiculous.
You get your tickets here and you go up the tower. Well, if you haven't figured out the name of the tower, it is called the Galata Tower. This tower is 62.59 meters, or 205 feet. It was completed in 1348, and it was the tallest building in Istanbul until the Beyazıt Tower was built in 1749. After restoration took place in the 1960s, it was commercialized and opened up back to the public, and now it became a top list for people that want to visit Istanbul. The entrance fee to the Galata Tower is about 650 liras, which is about $22.52. And the tower has a great view, especially during sunset, so it's worth your visit.
It is so much more hectic than last night.
Today, the tower is very busy and it's full of people from around the world. Waiting to go up the tower takes about 40 minutes to 2 hours. But that really depends on the day you go. And everyone was taking selfies there.
The country is reasonably safe.
Yeah, and seems that I have frozen there for some reason.
Other than that, you should be fine.
How is that even related?
Food is good. Just go to... Don't listen to recommendations from people. Just go to places that you like.
I'm just in awe. I just don't know what to say to you at this point. I think I had a brain freeze.
Market is pretty, very picturesque. Doesn't matter where you look. You can take a picture on the emptiest wall out here and it'll still look good. As much as I would love to make this a good vacation, and as funny as it is, because this should be a place I should feel home at.
The reason why I'm saying that is because my grandma's ancestors are Turkish, and I thought this trip will reconnect my roots.
Like a foreigner anywhere in North America. But once I come to Europe, in Turkey, where a lot of people actually do look like me, I feel a little weird out here. I guess it's the scams. Everybody's trying to charge you extra, so it ruins your experience right away in your first day. Very sad to see such an amazing place with all these tourists flocking into, turn into this. When I went to Egypt, a lot of people were trying to scam, but it wasn't as bad. I think we're heading there. Now the question is how to cross.
Walking around Istiklal Street is an emotional roller coaster. So I decided to go to the Fisherman's Bridge, which I discovered by a coincidence.
The country's not really dirty, kind of clean. I can't seem to figure out where to throw my garbage. I saw the fishermen now there, so I decided to go and meet up with my buddies. They're probably going to be the only ones that don't want to scam me in this neighborhood. This country's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Here are my buddies trying to see what they're trying to catch. Nobody beats the fisherman in making you feel comfortable a little bit. Brilliant. I feel a lot better.
And just like I promised you in the previous video, I want to talk to you about Egypt.
Egypt was actually magnificent. I've never had a better time in a country as much as I had in Egypt. People were so nice, like prices were reasonable. Just go to local places. I'm already talking about it in my previous video, telling about Egypt and the locations you should visit. Prices are standard in those places. Those are the places where locals go. Don't go to tourist areas and expect a cheap bargain. It's probably the same as here in Turkey, but I haven't figured out the local areas yet. So far, I'm just chilling around the tourist areas because that's where my hotel is.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm talking like that, by the way. But I think that's my angry voice.
I guess now I can say welcome to Turkey.
Woo! These guys are crazy. I saw a lot of these guys everywhere. I kept observing them because I was scared they're gonna hit the traffic.
He managed. I wasn't expecting him to manage. I also wanted to tell you something. As for vapes, gotta bring them with you. And here, they're illegal. So you're gonna have to buy them for double the price if you find them. It took me 6 hours yesterday looking for a vape, and I ended up with a little piece of shit. That doesn't work. So I would recommend you for the next time you go to get a vape and an extra substitute just in case if anything happens. Trading vapes is illegal. You can smoke it if you want, but buying or selling them could send you to jail. So watch out for that. And also, the places you're gonna go to pick up your vape are very, very shady. The guy that took me through a bookstore, and from that bookstore, I had to climb 3 floors up into a random room, and then I got my vape from there. But it was extremely shady. If you're a foreigner, you never want to go to a sketchy area like that. Always be careful what you do around these neighborhoods. Now I'm giving you all the bad, but the good is, the country is magical. Literally, it looks like a Disney cartoon. This is probably the most picturesque and tiniest road I've seen so far. It's full of cafes. Brilliant indeed.
These little cafes were everywhere in Taksim Square. And no matter how small the place is, it was always pretty.
Quaint little cafes all over the place. Now we're gonna enter back to Taksim Street.
At this point, I was contemplating staying in Istanbul. Because of my philosophy, a country is its people. Pretty buildings, bridges, and tunnels are not gonna change anything. And I understand there's the good and the bad in every society. But I came to this country with limitations. Had I spoken the language, I would have found friends probably the first day. And my friends were warning me about even walking with a passport.
Then your money. So don't walk around flaunting your passport, because that thing can cost anything between 10,000 and 20. It's a hot commodity out here, more than your cell phone, your camera, or any tool or equipment that you have.
But regardless of all these warnings, I just wanted to break through. This is not my very first time traveling. And I always wanted to prove to myself and to you guys that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I don't want to look at the world with rosy glasses, but at the same time I want to be realistic about my expectations.
Isn't that one of the coolest things you've seen out here? I mean, they have them in Toronto, but we don't appreciate them much because they're slow and hasslesome. Yeah, here in a little market like this, they could be very convenient.
I'm sure by now you can tell by my tone that I was not happy, but I had a lot of situations that day that were not ideal. So I was hoping to sleep it off today and wake up in the morning with more positive energy. I decided to start off day 3 from the Fisherman's Bridge, giving myself a positive head start away from the tourist traps. And today I was gonna walk it off, and I decided not to take a taxi. I lied. I actually waited for 2 hours to get one, but nobody came, so I decided to walk it off. And this is another screenshot of the taxi's messages that I was able to savor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 3 in Turkey. I'm gonna test this one more time and go out to check out this beautiful country.
After 2 hours of waiting for the taxi, I actually made up my mind to go to Greece. I just wanted out.
We are heading to the Grand Bazaar, and we're gonna give it one more shot today before I go to Greece. Hopefully, it'll be fun. Yesterday was a tough day. However, I was not mad about Turkey in general. I was mad about everybody that I met yesterday. From the taxi driver to the shopkeeper to the restaurant, everybody was trying to scam me somehow. But I guess this is what happens in tourist neighborhoods. Last night, I decided to go to a Turkish place, and I ended up spending for my meal 250, which is kind of reasonable. I generally don't care to spend money, but I care if somebody's trying to extort me for money. So if it's an honest person, I'd give them money. I don't have a problem with that. I only had a problem because it was against my will.
Today, I plan to stay positive no matter the situation. I thickened my skin and I kept a positive attitude. I wasn't gonna let a couple of scammers ruin my trip, and I walked from my hotel room all the way to the bazaar. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Grand Bazaar. It's one of the largest and oldest covered markets in the world. It sits on an area of 3,700 square meters, and it attracts 250,000 to 500,000 visitors a day. In 2014, it was listed #1 in the most visited tourist attractions in the world, with 91,250,000 visitors annually. It's also regarded as one of the very first shopping malls in the world.
I always end up going to these markets wearing white pants. By the time I reach home, they're already brown. This whole time I thought I entered the Grand Bazaar, but it seems that it starts from here. Before you enter, you might have to go through a security check. This is really grandiose. I was actually expecting a lot less than this, but it looks very cool. It's large. You can go from this direction, this one, or that one. Amazing.
Did I mention this market was built on 61 streets?
Oh no, I want to drink it in a cafe.
Just try. It will be.
It's okay, thank you. So I'm out here sitting at the Sar Kabat Kavesi.
The prices in this area are very touristy, but they're expected to be touristy. I put up the menu so you can get a sense of the prices in case you're going there. In here, you're not just paying for food, you're paying for the experience of eating food in one of the oldest markets in the world. I just hope that plate didn't come from the Bronze Age.
I'm not gonna lie, the fries are disappointing. Mediocre at best, but the kebab is magnificent. I haven't tried anything better than this.
And just as the food arrived, I knew I was up for a treat. Everything that I got from this place was hot and fresh, and this Turkish tea gave it a nice complimentary aftertaste. And the ambience in this place felt like it came out of a history book. Sitting on this table and watching people walk by made me feel privileged. Heck, I'm sitting at a market that's been open for thousands of years. Millions of people from around the world leave their lives behind to come get a glimpse of this still operating artifact. To complete my experience, I was recommended to have this kanafe with ice cream. Now, I'm not new to kanafe, but I'm new to kanafe with ice cream at one of the oldest markets I've ever visited.
So the meal I ordered in this cafe cost me around 50 Canadian bucks, which is 40 American. It's not bad. It's worth it. I can't elaborate how large this bazaar is. I'm gonna write it down in here, but it's huge.
After walking around in this magical place for a little bit, I started to get lost. And it was time to find any exit, even though I had no idea where I was going. Now, my motivation is high, and I was ready to do more exploration. I was walking around this market like a Tesla would if it didn't have a GPS.
It's hectic out here, but it's quiet. Surprisingly, when I visited Egypt, by the time I reached home, my pants and shoes were dirty. Still clean for some reason. We're doing great.
Getting lost in these alleys was actually very pleasant.
Hectic. Now I'll try to find my way out or back to where I came from.
And so far, I managed to avoid the touts.
Now I'll be honest with you. All these mosques look the same for me. So I can't really tell which one is what. But this one is the one nearby the Grand Bazaar. It seems interesting. But there's another one right next to it. And there's finally a place that accepts Bitcoin. Interesting, isn't it? I have no idea where I'm walking. The reason why we're not doing a lot of shopping is because I have to leave tomorrow. And I don't have a lot of time here. But you guys are gonna have a good time in Greece. The reason why I'm not mad about spending that $50 is because it was a service that was offered and I accepted it. Yesterday was a different story. Yesterday I was forced into sitting at a certain area and I was forced to order certain things. Yes, you can say no sometimes, but it doesn't always go the way you want. So I see a lot of people down that street in there. So I figured I might as well walk that direction and see what's happening there. Crazy.
Now, I'm not sure if you can call this luck,
I see a big building out here.
but what are the odds of me finding the Hagia Sofia right next to this market? Even though I had absolutely no idea where it was. I guess the herd mentality helped me for once. What a sheep.
I'm not sure what's going on, but it seems this is Hagia Sofia. And that is a large church.
Now, at first glance, I thought I was looking at a church. But I think what I was looking at was the Hagia Sofia Mosque. I even looked it up online and couldn't tell what made me think it was a church. But then again, I'm oblivious to religious institutions and I prefer to stay that way.
So busy out here. Are all these people tourists? This is crazy. I'm trying to figure out why this lineup is. I would hope it's not for the tickets. The lineups out here are crazy. Crazy.
Oblivious as I am, this was actually the lineup for the Hagia Sofia mosque. This lineup was huge. It was so distracting, I had to film the lineup itself.
I don't even know where they start from. People come here to film the buildings. I'm coming here to film the lineup. See how far it stretches. This is crazy. Oh my God. Remember the line where we started? Yeah, it continues. It continues this direction. You might have to wait 2 to 3 hours, maybe even 4 hours to get inside. That's nuts. Look at this lineup. And it continues behind. Holy moly. I am not going there. Gotta love Asians and their dedication to photography. They're ready with the poses. Magnificent. I've never seen so many guns in my life. It seems that every tourist area has a heavy police presence. Let me get some water. So I bought a water bottle from a little corner shop and he charged me $5. Now think about it. $5 for a water bottle and $1,000 for a meal. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
That's 200 times the price of your meal. Can you imagine being in the US and paying $2 for your water bottle and paying $400 for an average meal?
I see the water ahead of me, so I'm gonna try to head there. If you're gonna decide to walk, be ready for taking hills up and down. It's ridiculous. I think I just passed by the Greek area. There were a bunch of Greek restaurants. In the pursuit of trying to reach the water, I might have to go through this bridge, crossing the highway towards a little park down there. That looks interesting, actually. Holy moly. This is probably the highest point I've been so far. Woo! Finally. I was there actually. Holy moly, that was ridiculous. That's quite the walk. I don't know if you can still see the mosque from here. Well, the trees kind of covered it. But this is crazy. I try to sit by the beach and enjoy a little cold breeze under the sun, starting to develop rashes.
So the main reason I came to this park is actually to find out if I can rent a car. And for some reason, every single time I booked a car and put it for only 24 hours, I kept getting this large bill, which only shows up at the last stage when I'm just about to pay. 67,000 liras for 24 hours?
If you're wondering where you can find this area, this is the location. It is called Yeni Kapi. So here, Parki. It's windy, sunny, it's beautiful. The weather is amazing. I wish I didn't walk that much.
Yeah, that was me trying to be positive. You like it?
Let me show you.
But after a couple of minutes, I remembered that I use Expedia, so I gave it a shot. I was looking for a car that had a USB outlet, only for 24 hours, and I wanted to pick it up downtown and drop it off at the airport with the price of 95 Canadian, which is about 70 American. And in 20 minutes, I had a car ready for me, but I have to get there. So I called up an Uber and I waited. I waited. And I waited. And I waited again. But I was ready to stay positive because now I have a car.
This guy's feeding the birds. Very kind of him. So we are on the shore facing the whole city. A nice thing about Istanbul is that it has a lot of hills. So every building can be seen from a certain area with a pretty angle.
And after 2 hours of waiting for Uber, my phone was already dying. I was hungry, I was thirsty, and I somehow managed to get a car. The only reason why I rented that car is because I confirmed it has a USB outlet. And I still didn't get it, but they gave me the lighter one.
So after all the hassle with the taxis, I ended up renting a car. It took me 20 minutes just trying to book it on Expedia. And then I went there and they kept me there for an hour and a half.
After I arrived at the agency, they told me that the car that I rented was not available.
Arguing with them, and then they went and they called Expedia. I called Expedia.
And they were trying to convince me to pay extra for an SUV. I contacted Expedia with the last 15% of my battery. Bear in mind, in Turkey, I can't do anything without my phone. I can't even go home. And by the time I was at 1%, they decided to give me this SUV for the same price. Thank you, Expedia, seriously. I'm not getting paid for this, but I love you guys. At least now I don't have to wait for hours to get a taxi.
So it's time to just discover places without having to hassle with taxis. Maybe it's old, maybe it's new, I don't know what model this is. The way, ooh, look at this guy, you crazy buddy. The motorcyclist was nuts, he was just going. Driving in here is fine, I think it's a little bit better than Egypt, but look at this. They just see an empty space, they just go, they don't even put indicator or nothing. And this area, honestly, the Asian side just looks basic, like there's nothing really special about it. The European side looks nicer, maybe that's why all the tourists go there. But I guess this is cheaper. We'll figure it out now. This is the car that I got, and we're gonna go check this neighborhood out. I'm thirsty.
And I stopped at the first place that caught my eye, in the Asian side. I ordered this pizza looking thing, I think it was called Lahmacun, and it cost me 40 liras.
It's a piece of bread with meat spread out on it.
Which is about $1.38. Did I just travel between two areas in a city or two countries?
Hopefully this is not my last meal in Turkey. Tomorrow we're gonna have a little bit more, and I'll drive a lot more tomorrow in the morning. Drive before I go to the airport. Okay, thank you. Where should I put this? I'll put it here. Thank you very much. I'll put it there. Bye-bye. That was a quick one. They were very nice, much nicer than the European area. Very normal people. So I guess if you're a tourist, go to the Asian area. You don't need to keep going to the European one all the time. Now good luck trying to figure out which one my car is. There are two white cars, but I'm an SUV, and I was parked right behind a black car. Okay, I think I figured it out. I've never heard of this brand before.
I did a little research on this car and I actually found out that it's Romanian.
Now that we filled up the stomach a little bit, let's go discover Turkey a little bit. This is how the Asian side looks. There are so many tolls that you have to pay for every time you enter the Asian part or the European part. So keep an eye. So now you get to see the big buildings and everything else.
And it was time to go eat again, and this time it was very special.
So in this restaurant, you can pick up a couple of things and you go upstairs.
Let me elaborate. So all this food that you see in these fridges is still raw. You take it, you go upstairs, and they cook it for you on the grill. And I was craving the grimiest parts of the animals, like kidneys, intestines, and so forth. And you can't go wrong with a little kebab on the side. And as soon as you pick up your orders, you can go to the cashier and pay for it there.
That's not a bad idea, actually. All right, I'm ready. Let's go upstairs.
Even though this girl didn't speak English, but her tone was so convincing. Everything she asked me, I did.
So I pay you here. What do you mean? Bread? Oh, this one.
She asked me for bread, I picked up bread.
Drink?
And she asked me for a drink, I picked up a drink.
So it ended up being 602.
And no, I was not simping. She's not even my type. Relax.
And then I go upstairs. Thank you very much.
And now it's time for the best part. To go upstairs and ask them to cook your food.
I was told it was free. Hello. Do I put this here?
Well done, medium.
Medium. I'll come inside.
Çekebilirsin. Hoş geldin.
I don't know what you're saying, but okay.
Beni de çek, beni de.
Neresi abi sen?
What is it? I'm from Canada.
Canada.
Nereli?
Kanada.
Canada.
Kanada.
Murat.
Kanada.
Rengi mi?
Ne bileyim ya.
Kanada neresi?
Kanada o şey.
I'm good. How are you? I just wanted to see how you do.
One is good.
It's
No
working.
megabits.
Right.
Megabits.
You want what?
iPhone good yani.
Yeah. This is very good. Yeah. It's the best one. All right, where should I sit? Right? Where do I sit? No, sit. I sit anywhere? I sit there? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. The concept is actually really nice. Thank you, thank you.
I came to this restaurant after a couple of days that were very challenging, but here I seem to have found some comfort. The people operating this place were very kind, although I was having a little bit of a challenge.
Washroom? Where? Bathroom? Bathroom? Toilet? Oh, here. There you go, it's locked. And it's one of these. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Oh, that's amazing. Now I'm worried about where to park my car because I live in Taksim Square and it's almost impossible to drive there, let alone park. You can call it yogurt, sour yogurt. The one thing I learned from this trip is that you should not stick to the European area. You're going to end up spending way too much money for nothing. These are the people that deserve the tip. Thank you very much.
Finish, my fish.
These are internal organs. This thing are intestines. They're salty, very flavorful because they all come out of the charcoal. So they have that burn taste. Tastes amazing. I promise you these are kidneys. They do taste like kidneys. These are some sort of fat. Oh my god, this is to die for. This is probably the best tasting thing in here. Wow. If I have to recommend a place. Come here. If you don't like it, come back to my channel and tell me why this has been a bad choice.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Just because they were honest with me, I'm gonna leave them with 400. Usually people tip them 20. Always reward those who are honest. So 400. There you go, life is good. All right, brother, thank you very much. This is for you and for them. Thank you very much, brother. Okay, thank you. Thank you, brother. Okay, thank you, brother. From there? I always tend to shove myself in embarrassing situations, but the language barrier is an issue too, so don't blame me.
This restaurant is a win in my book. And regardless of how bad my days have been going, it motivated me to discover a little more in Turkey. And having a car for transportation was the best idea of all. Now I can wake up in the morning and start heading to the airport with a very positive memory of Istanbul. Or can I?
Amazing. I'm scared to drive here, to be honest. I've never driven in such steep hills.
Turn right onto Sipahi Farini Sokak.
Yeah, coming up. Well, I have to leave. Greece is waiting for me, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm excited, but I'm disappointed that I'm leaving Turkey so soon. Next time I come, I'm going to different cities, and I'm gonna avoid all the tourist attractions. Not the tourist attractions, the tourist traps. And I'll actually have a great time. But as for now, I'm gonna head to Greece and have a great time. I made a couple of mistakes in my travel. Oh, look at this view. The camera doesn't do it justice. Huh. I was just at this restaurant, and I ordered omelets, orange juice, a coffee, bread too, and this is the price, which makes a lot of sense actually. It's 276. 276 is like about 10 bucks, like 13 bucks, something of that sort. Now that is the price you get outside of the tourist destination. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. What I did is I put airport. I asked Google to send me to an airport, and I have absolutely no idea where it was sending me. And then I looked at my ticket, and it says that I should be at Sabiha Gökçen, and look how far I went from Sabiha Gökçen. So now I have to drive another hour to get to my airport. Let's do this. I'm so glad that I woke up so early. I would recommend every tourist to just get a car and just keep driving around. That way you save yourself a lot of hassle and you stay away from trouble. You don't want to be sitting in tourist attractions only. I realize Turkish people outside those tourist attractions are actually really nice. They seem a little bit rough around the edges, but in general they're nice. They mean well. It's just a language difference, I guess. In cafes, the guy will be like, hey, you can get this and that and this and that. I only found maybe like 2 or 3, and they probably were interacting with a lot of foreigners before. But if you find somebody who barely speaks English, they'll be very rough around the edges. My gas didn't even go down a bit.
I guess I spoke too soon. Even if you have a car, you need to be careful.
I've been driving since yesterday, and they told me fill up the gas right before returning the car. So now, is that some kind of scam? Does that make any sense to you? The company that I rented from is an international company. We have it in Toronto. But look at this. A day and a half of driving, let's say since yesterday. I drove at least 100 kilometers. How is it possible that I didn't go not even a little bit down? There's something suspicious about this, right? Is it possible that they put for me half and they expect me to fill it up until full? I wouldn't know, because at the end of the day, it's probably broken. Holy cow, I see people on top. Oh my God, that makes my knees wiggle. This is an interesting situation. Sure, I just parked near the airport and one guy came to me and he asked me to give him some money. So I told him I don't have anything, I only have 200. So he said he's gonna go, like, this is all with translator. He's gonna go around other drivers and he's gonna ask for a change and give me another 100. Let's see, I'm literally right next to the airport. He seemed like he's okay, to be honest, but you never know. You have?
Bekle geliyorum abi, 2 dakikaya geliyorum.
2 minutes? Okay. I don't know what he said. He said something.
Because it was abrupt, I didn't even get the chance to set up my camera yet. But I did eventually.
He went all the way to the back to other cars. If I didn't have time, this will be time consuming, but it's okay. He went all the way to the back to exchange it and he's gonna come back. I'm not sure if 100 is a lot of money. 100 is basically $5, so like 4.5 American bucks or something.
Is it possible that he's gonna come back? Or did he just run away? Either way, I kept the camera facing the window in case he comes.
I should have just given it to him, no? He was asking me for 20. I can't be giving him 200. But everybody that begs for money for some reason keeps telling me that they went to prison or they just came out of prison. That's strange.
This guy was not actually a beggar from the street. He just came out of a car and he stopped my car to ask me for money because apparently he ran out of gas.
I'm suspecting that he's taking too long. I'm looking at my mirror here to see where he went. I'm not sure how far he went. It's been already 10 minutes and he couldn't find change. Does that make sense? I've been waiting. Maybe he freaked out because he saw the camera or something. I'm not sure. Let's see, I'll give him another 10 minutes. So that will be 20 minutes of me waiting for him. And then I will know if he was lying or if he was truthful. He seemed honest, but I'm not sure. Brother, brother, brother. I don't like people when they keep saying to me brother, because I know that there is something hidden behind it. I'll wait until 11:10, sorry, 11:10. I'll wait until 11:20. So 10 minutes have passed, so that's 20 minutes in total. Let's see.
And I kept waiting, and no trace of him.
3 minutes left.
An hour later, I was still waiting.
1 more minute. I don't know. Sometimes you would think somebody is honest, and sometimes you get lost in translation. I don't know what he told me, but he made this signal, so I'm assuming it's 2 minutes. He's gonna go exchange in 2 minutes from another car, but it doesn't seem like it. I don't see him. That's it. It's almost the end of the 9 minutes, the 10 minutes. All right, it's 12:10. Okay. Should you be trusting anybody that comes up to you and asking you for money? Anywhere in the world, it doesn't have to be Turkey only. I would say no. Once you give the money, it's your responsibility because it came out of your pocket. You don't have to give it. But I just did it for the experiment of it, just to see what that is. So this may or may not be a scam. I'm not sure. It could be an honest person. And then he freaked out when he saw my camera. But he didn't come back. And if he were honest, he wouldn't have wanted to look bad in front of camera either. Although I was trying to discreetly hide it as much as possible. But it's time to leave. Let's go. See how much it would cost.
And I wanted to confirm if the car rental agency was actually scamming me too. So I went to the gas station to see how much it will take to fill up the rest of the tank.
So they count it in liters. No way it finished. No freaking way.
But for the very first time, it was actually an honest mistake on their part. And their gas meter is actually broken.
440 total. 12. Okay. Can I card? Yeah.
Market.
Inside? Okay. So 440 for 12 liters. Enter. The GPS is not going to send you there, so don't waste your time.
Now, I'm not one to make conclusions about an entire city, but I'm only speaking of my own experiences. And my experience in Istanbul, especially the European part, has not been that great. I literally bought my ticket the second day of me arriving here. I really wanted to love this place, but with all the circumstances that happened, I just wanted out. Hopefully one day I will be returning to Turkey, but I will not visit Istanbul again. Don't let my experience discourage you from going to Istanbul. Just learn from my mistakes and be cautious there. But for now, it's time to head to Greece. I'll see you there.